Ceremonies will take place tomorrow to mark the 80th anniversary of victory over Japan Day, the day that officially marked the end of the Second World War.
While VE Day is widely celebrated, VJ Day is considered by many as under-recognised. Our reporter, John Maguire, has been speaking to veterans.
After the euphoria of victory in Europe and the defeat of the Nazis in May 1945, much of the world was now at peace.
Jungles where the enemy must be blasted out inch by inch, because in surrender he finds degradation, but in death for the Emperor, paradise.
In the Far East, the Allies fought on. An army, forgotten by many, faced an enemy that refused to surrender. Tom Jones was in the jungles of what was known then as Burma. He shares his story with schoolchildren.
On VE Day, we were still dodging bullets in the jungle. For another 3 months, we used to have a little song. The words were, I want to go home, I want to go home. I don't want to lie in this slit trench no more, where the bullets and shrapnel fly round galore. Take me over the sea, where the Japanese can't get at me. Oh my, I don't want to die, I just want to go home.
And they would come home, but only after the devastation wrought by the United States atomic bombs dropped on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
In a fraction of a second, the explosion of the bomb became a ball of fire 1,800 feet across, with a temperature at its center of 100 million degrees.
John Daniels was a Royal Navy radio operator, and on board ship was a witness to history.
I remember the flash when it went off, because we were told, whatever you do, don't look at it, turn your backs. So we all sort of dutifully turned our backs, but it was quite a bright, whole of the sky lit up, and it was gone. It was just a couple of seconds and it was over. We had been warned, that not necessarily the details that it was an atom bomb. It was a new type bomb, very high explosive, and it was going to be used to bring the end of the war closer. That was what they told us. Well, of course it did. It ended it.
Japanese peace delegates. It rarely is the end.
The Japanese surrender came within days, but for John, celebrations were short-lived as the ship's crew worked on. There was, though, he recalls, a great sense of relief.
We wanted to stop firing, stop shooting. Additional damage was being done and people getting wounded and killed, which was totally unnecessary because they were beaten anyway. All we wanted them to do was they just would not give up. And for the purposes of the final announcement, we had cleared lower deck and the whole ship's company was there, and the captain announced it, officially the end of the war.
But in London and cities around the world, crowds gathered in mass celebrations for the second and final time in the summer of 1945. After 6 years of death, deprivation and destruction, at long last, the war was over. John Maguire, BBC News.
You speak now to Captain Jay Singh Sohal, who is the trustee of the Commonwealth War Graves Foundation. Very good morning to you. Thank you so much. Just wanted to reflect for a moment. We heard from John Daniels there in John's report, who witnessed Hiroshima himself and is still able to tell that tale. And in so many ways, that's the avenue for people to be more interested, isn't it? We have, you will have seen and spoken to people who can still tell those stories.
Yes, indeed, and there's very few left, unfortunately, but very moving hearing that account. And certainly when you look at the war in the Far East during World War II, 80 years ago, the imagery that we see from Japan, and certainly the connotation is usually with the nuclear bomb. It paints a certain picture, but the contribution of so many people from across the Commonwealth in that campaign in the Far East, particularly in places like Burma, is very significant and enabled us to be able to stand up against authoritarianism. And that's something that we remember and we continue to reflect upon and raise awareness of through the work of the Commonwealth War Graves.
How is it, do you think, that there is a sense that, to a degree, it's not been recognised enough and it's not been marked in the same way? Do you sense that?
Yes, I think it's a historic anomaly as well, if I could put it that way. The 14th Army in Burma is often called the Forgotten Army. The campaign in Burma, which was so important in terms of checking the Japanese advance into India is often overlooked. The focus is usually on VE and what was going on in Europe. But if it wasn't for more than 2.5 million people from undivided India at the time, fighting and serving in places like Burma, then we certainly would have seen a very different outcome. And when we reflect upon this and the stories of some of those individuals, particularly in Burma, as I say, the individual heroism and bravery and valour that was on display is phenomenal. 18 Victoria Crosses were won by the Indian Army under the British in action in places like Burma, representing and reflecting people from diverse walks of life, the likes of Nan Singh, Fazl Din, Bahadur Thapa, a Sikh, a Punjabi Muslim, and a Gurkha, who fought as part of their regiments of the Indian Army at the time in Burma. And for their heroism, fighting on despite being injured, they were awarded the VC. And I think the work of the Commonwealth War Graves is about recognising more than 500,000 people, predominantly men who fought, of course, who died in those conflicts. But certainly when VE Day came to an end, the fact that the conflict continued up to VJ Day, but even after VJ Day, there were nearly 40,000 odd further casualties because of the conflicts continuing on in certain parts of the world.
You've spoken to those related to those who fought, families of those. How important is it to them?
Oh, it's very important to...
The history that was made and the bravery of those service people who fought is recognised for them.
Yeah, very important and significant as well. These were men from the villages like my ancestral villages in the Punjab who served, who stood forth and went out to be Bahadurs, braves, because they believed in their martial prowess and traditions. They wanted to prove themselves with those soldierly virtues, which certainly in the Punjab was very important to people there of diverse
also,
faiths.
when you have history of that bravery in your family and that commitment to the right thing, you want to also be proud of your forefathers, don't you?
Absolutely, it's values driven, and the values that they exhibited then, certainly in the field of combat, are values that we can look upon in this day and age and take a lot of inspiration from. And certainly the work of the Commonwealth War Graves is about recognising their stories, but also the lessons that they bring forth in terms of how we continue to commit ourselves to peace and securing peace. Because of their bravery and sacrifice, and also the lessons of war and the harsh realities of war, which we don't want to see repeated.
What will you be doing on the day?
So I'll be supporting the Commonwealth War Graves with the Forevermore Tour. It's an app that you can download to find out some of those stories from those Commonwealth soldiers who fought. But also the Forevermore Tour will also be undertaking a number of events, community activities up and down the country, as well as abroad as well, in places like Hong Kong, Singapore and Japan.
Lovely to see you this morning. Thank you very much. Captain Jay Singh Sohal, who is trustee of the Commonwealth War Graves Foundation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.